get closer and closer to election time, it's coming up here the 1st of November, the more I begin to realize how broken this nation is. Recently, I read through the book of Nehemiah, and if you know anything about Nehemiah, Nehemiah was in a good situation. He was the cupbearer for the king, right? He lived in a palace. He lived in a castle. He took care of the king on a daily basis, so he had a pretty good life. But something bothered him. One day he went before the king, and the king could tell that he was upset. And he said, "What's bothering you, Nehemiah? I could tell something's going on." He said, "You know what? My hometown, Jerusalem, the walls are broken down. It's broken down. They're tore down. It's in desolation. And I can't stand it knowing that my hometown is this way." As we go in closer to the election, I think the church needs to become more like Nehemiah. We need to be tore up. We need to be burdened for what is broken in our nation. And we just don't need to turn a blind eye to it. We don't need to take this election cycle lightly. We need to be in constant prayer. We need to do some fasting. We need to be like Nehemiah. We need to say, hey, look, I'm not going to put up with this being broken anymore. I don't want my nation broken. I don't want my state broken. I don't want my community broken. I don't want my family broken, Lord. And I'm willing to do whatever it takes, even if it means inconveniencing myself, right? Because Nehemiah leaves the palace, goes to Jerusalem, and actually begins to work on rebuilding the walls and reestablishing what he knew was broken and needed fixed, so that the next generation could have better. As a church going into the election cycle, we got to be broken, man. Things are messed up. We have to be burdened for them. We have to be praying for them. Pray for the elected officials. Pray for God to put those in office who are going to do his will, and pray that our nation turns their heart back to God.